Um, Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'd like to welcome everyone. My name is Wendy Levinson, and I am the co-president of Nechemyah Hadassah, and we are sponsoring this evening tonight with another Hadassah group, Biachad, and I will be calling up the president of that group. But I just would like to thank you all for coming. You are in store for a real treat. We are so lucky to have this speaker to talk to us tonight. He's traveled all over the country. You're going to hear more about him. And we are just so lucky that he made time for us. He's leaving for Israel shortly, and we were able to get him to come to us before he left. So we are really privileged and honored to have him speak for us tonight. So I would like to just tell you quickly about our upcoming events for Nechemyah Note, and then we will hear about some other upcoming events from Biachad. And everyone is welcome at our events. I know that this event is sponsored by Hadassah, but everyone, if you're not a member, you still can come to any event that we have, as you are tonight. We have some non-members here, so feel free to either contact myself or Beth Meyer. She was not able to come tonight, but if you would like to contact her, you're welcome to do that as well. We have monthly meetings, and we are hosting a meeting on September 10th, and that is a membership meeting, so it's open to non-members, can come for free, and we are meeting at Little Calf, which is in Thousand Oaks. It's Little Calf Creamery, which has delicious food and ice cream. So they really have a specialty for ice cream. So if you haven't been there, I really recommend it. So we're doing that September 10th. I'm not sure yet of the time, but you will get the flyer. And then on October 9th, we're having our annual Sukkot dinner. And that's open to anyone who would like to come and enjoy a dinner in the sukkah. And we have Rabbi Julie Rosenson will be coming to speak to us from Valley Outreach Synagogue, and we hope that you can join us. It's a meal outdoors. It's lovely under the sukkah. It's a very special time. If you've never had a meal in the sukkah, we hope you join us for that. So, without further ado, we are in this lovely space, and we are being hosted by Congregation Orami. So, Stacy, before I introduce you, I'm going to introduce our rabbi who wants to say a few words, and I want to thank Orami. We would not be here without the kindness and generosity of Orami to give us their space. And they do this all the time, and we really want to thank them. So I'd like to invite up Rabbi Ilana Rabashah, who is going to speak to you just for a moment about Orami. And thank you again for hosting us.
Thank you so much, Wendy. It's honestly a privilege to be able to partner with organizations that share our values, especially of Jewish peoplehood and Jewish continuity. If you are thinking about what congregation to make your spiritual home, allow me to just share two of our signature programs here at Congregation Orami. The first is our Kesher program for children between kindergarten and 12th grade. We have a lot of vibrant programs and educational and social activities for our youngest learners and their adults. And for those who are 60 and better, we have a village program that meets twice a month, and they do all sorts of amazing activities. They go to the theater and they have meals, and it's a really wonderful group to be a part of. If you are looking for a synagogue, if you're looking for community, or if you're just looking for a place for High Holy Days, I'm around and happy to answer any questions. Am Yisrael Chai.
Thank you. And I would now like to introduce you to the Biachad president, Stacy DeVries.
Hi and welcome. I'm very excited to be partnering up with our sister chapter, sister group. September 7th, I just want to share a few events that we have coming up. On September 17th, we have a free event to promote membership and annual giving at a private home in Woodland Hills. And we will have some dynamic speakers focusing on youth aliyah and dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome and the ongoing Hadassah projects in Israel. On October 13th, we will be meeting under the sukkah at a private home in Tarzana, and all are welcome. We'll share food and stories. And October 26th, we have our biggest annual event for breast cancer awareness. It's called Bash for Boobies. And it's at a private home in Calabasas with a silent auction. We have gift bags for everyone, our celebrity speaker and breast cancer survivor, Jillian Barbary. And all are welcome, including your significant others. So I hope you'll join us. And if you have any questions about our group, I'm right here. Come and see me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and I really appreciate Biachad and Orami for partnering with us on this event. Thank you so much. So now I'd like to introduce you to the person who found out about this speaker, and without her we wouldn't be here. So I want to thank Janet Fishman for following up on a good recommendation. She heard that he was a great speaker and let us know, and we went from there. So we appreciate her efforts, and she will be introducing you to our speaker. So thank you, Janet.
Before I introduce you to our speaker, I just want to say a little bit more about Hadassah, as Wendy and Stacy told you about the upcoming events. I'm on the board for the Emek Halanot chapter, and the mission of Hadassah is to heal the world through our members' actions in the United States, Israel, and across the globe. It's the women's Zionist organization, and it was founded before Israel was even a state and before women could vote. Today, we're 300,000 strong across the country and across the generations, proof of just how big an impact we can have when we bring philanthropy and women's leadership together. For 100+ years, Hadassah has worked proactively to find and implement solutions to some of the most pressing challenges facing each generation. Together, we're advancing women's health, supporting a strong Israel, fighting hate and anti-Semitism, and instilling Jewish values in future generations. On July 9th, just a little over a month ago, I got a text from my friend Cheryl Mirup, who lives in Denver, Colorado. And she sent me a photo of herself with a young man who was a company commander of an IDF Paratrooper brigade. And she highly recommended him. He fought at Kibbutz Be'eri and led his platoon as one of the first to enter Gaza on October 7th. Cheryl said that he gave an incredible presentation and he wanted to come to Los Angeles to do the same. So I got on the computer and I sent out a few emails, and this is how this evening came about. I also learned from Cheryl that he is friends with Yonatan Perez, whose father, Rabbi Doron Perez, I know, and whose son, Daniel, was tragically killed in the tank that he was commanding on October 7th. And I'm part of a prayer circle, and we were praying for all the months. We thought Daniel was taken as a hostage, but then videos from the terrorists revealed that he had been killed. So it's hit us very, very hard. I want to introduce you now to Nechemyah Danzig.
Okay, so a lot of introducing today. So I'm very happy to be here. My name is Nechemyah Danzig. I'm 27 years old. 2 weeks ago I had a birthday. And I was born in Israel. My dad was born and raised in Montclair, New Jersey. That's why I got a little bit of English. And my mother's from Holland, and I was born in Israel. That's...
Can you speak more in the mic, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Whatever you want, I'll do. I'm a soldier. So I finished my service after 7 years, in coming last March. And after traveling a little bit, you know, Israeli kids, teenagers, and soldiers, after they finish the army, usually they go to South America and go to party. That's what they do. Everyone does that. So I did that, like everyone, but after a month and a half, I felt that I need something else. And I decided to go up to the States and give talks. This is my talk number 14. I have one more tomorrow in Washington State, and then I'm back to Israel, and I'll probably be back in October. I'm going to share my story and my men's story together, and I hope you like it. So, 7 years ago, I drafted into the army like every other Israeli kid who goes to the army. I wasn't planning on being a commander. But the way it works in the army is every time they tell you, listen, you're very good, you have to keep on going. It doesn't mean you're really good. It just means they want you. And then you have ego, and you say, okay, I'll keep on going. And that's how I find myself, after 5 years, still in the army. After 5 years, they're telling me, listen, we want you to be a company commander. So I say, I don't want to do that. It's too much responsibility. But they say, listen, you have to do it, you're the best. They don't mean it, but I say, okay. That's how men go. So I go to company commander training. It's 4 months, and afterwards I get a company. So this is my company. After a week, 120 men, and in the moment you get 120 men, you start to understand what's responsibility. In America, if you go to army, so if you do company commander training, it might take like a year, 2 years, I don't know exactly. In Israel, it's 4 months, very short. Everything in Israel goes fast, short, because a lot of reasons, but because we have a small army and we don't have enough money, so everything goes fast. And my dad is a professor. He told me, listen, before every position you do, you have to read books. Read a lot of books, because when you read books, you get knowledge from other people that already did the position. So I took a bunch of books and started reading in the training. And one of the books I read, this American officer, I forgot his name, he said that when you train men for war, you always have to aim for a goal. You always have to say, a soldier has to get the feeling that he is training for something. If you don't train for something, you don't really train well. So when I got to my men the first time, I told them, listen, we're in a very difficult time, and we're training for war, and I think there's going to be a war in September 22. That's what I said. I really wasn't praying for war. War is horrible. But when you make your men ready, you always have to train for that. And my soldiers laughed. Just nonsense, but I said I'm serious. And in my office, I had a sign saying, "War, September 22." I got to office in the beginning of July, and the way it works in the Israeli army, every time we practice for 4 months. How do we practice? At the beginning, we start. Only one soldier. You train one soldier. Afterwards, you train 4. Then you train 12, and then you train 24. In the end, the last week of training, we call it a war week. What is a war week? It's a week where we try to practice exactly like the war. We make the men ready. And that week was supposed to start in October 7. In September 22, a bunch of annoying soldiers came to my office and said, you're wrong. You said it's going to be a war. So I said, listen, guys, war is difficult. Sometimes it's the right to the left, but we have to be ready. And always have these annoying soldiers, always. Doesn't matter when. Whatever you're going to say, they're going to remember and then attack you. But it's fine. So this week is called a war week, and all the soldiers are very they're the first time, they're very young soldiers, right? These guys that you're seeing here, only the 8 months of training, they're 18 years old. Everyone can imagine their 18-year-old grandson just finishing high school and going to college. Okay, when we talk about soldiers, a lot of times we were in our images are like these big, strong men. But if you take their uniform off and put some just clothes on, they're just 18-year-old. And these guys are finishing 8 months of training, and now we're aiming for the last week. And before we start the week, we have a week before, that the whole week we're just getting ready for the week of war. The week of war was supposed to start on October 7 at night, Motzei Shabbat. And the whole week we're getting ready, and we're making our weapons ready, and our bullets, and our equipment, and everything. And in October 5, Thursday night, we have something called a company commander order. When I go by myself, all my soldiers put all their equipment on the floor, and I go, and I walk every soldier, and I check all his equipment to see that he's ready for war. I do it one time in every 4 months. That's my mission. That's what I've been told, and that's what I do. And after 4 or 5 hours, I went on all my soldiers, I'm talking about 120 men, and I told them, listen guys, you're ready. Everything is ready. You did a great job, you had a week to get ready, and you're ready. And because you did a great job, Friday, you get a day off. They never get a day off, these kids. Keep on working. You get a day off, you guys can go to the beach or whatever. You get a bus, and you have to get back before Friday because the whole unit, we're staying together in Shabbat in the base because we're supposed to start our training in Motzei Shabbat. And they're all happy. They go, they come back Friday night, and we have a dinner together, Shabbat dinner. I'm talking about we're like 700 soldiers, five companies. Each one is like 120, 110. And usually soldiers, because in Israel, our army isn't religious, Orthodox religious, but we don't do anything in Shabbat if it's not emergency. That's how Israeli army works. So because we don't do anything, the soldiers have another day off, and they all want to they want to sleep in, and Saturday, sleep like late, so they all go to sleep very late. So like October 6th at night, we're all playing the ball, having a great time, and we go to sleep. 7 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, get a phone call. Now, no one's supposed to call me at 7 o'clock in the morning. Shabbos. So I don't answer. And then he calls again. I know this guy, he's just an annoying guy. He always wants favors from me, this other officer. So I'm like, guy, give me a break, man. I want to sleep. And he keeps on calling me like 3 or 4 times. I was like half sleeping. And after a couple minutes, I get a phone call from another officer that is, I know he observes Shabbat, and he never talks in Shabbat, and he calls me. So I say, okay, something else is going on. I answer the phone, and he says, listen, Nechemyah, something is happening down in the south. I don't know what. Wake up all your men and be ready for whatever we're going to give, every mission we're going to give you. So I wake up, I'm in my pajamas, I open the phone, go to Telegram, and then I see this crazy image. Now, I think every Jew in the whole world remembers the exact moment when he'd been told October 7, where he was, who told it to him, and what was the exact image he saw in the beginning. And what I remember is when I opened the phone, I saw a video, famous video, this white pickup truck driving in Sderot. A lot of people saw it. And I served 2 years in Gaza border. I know a lot about Gaza border. And I knew in the same moment that if there is a white truck in Sderot, we're in trouble. This is something different. I don't know exactly what it means, but I understand it's different. So I wake up all my men, and we all get ready very fast. I tell them, listen, I don't know what's going on, but everyone should text their mother or father, say we're fine, we're going down to the south, and afterwards, everyone give me your phones. Why? Because phones, they never help in this kind of situations. People are stressful, and they need to be focused. They need to be together as friends. And this guy gets a phone call from his girlfriend. She's hysterical. And this guy gets a phone call from his mother and from his cousin and from his friend. I take all their phones, put it in my office, and I tell them we have 1 hour now to get ready. We don't know where we're going, but we know we're going to get important missions. We're going to help down the south. And that's what we do. My soldiers understand and work very hard and make everything ready. 8:30 in the morning, we're ready. I call my commander, Yoni. I say, Yoni, I'm ready. Where do we go? What do we do? So he says, listen, I'm very happy you're ready, but we don't have buses yet. The buses are only going to get there in 10:30. So you have to wait 2 hours in the base. Now we're in a base called Nebi Musa. It's in Bikat HaYarden. It's in the desert. It's like, today I came from New Mexico in the morning. I flew from Santa Fe. So it's like Santa Fe, okay? It's like nowhere. And I'm sorry, I don't want to offend Santa Fe, but it's like it's nowhere. I don't know how I got there. And this base is like 1 hour drive from a gas station. It's like really nowhere. And I'm saying to my commander, okay, I get it. And I'm telling my soldiers, okay, wait here, wait for orders. And then I start getting phone calls. Now, before my position as a company commander, I was a commander in officer schools. I was a teacher. I taught officers to be officers. I don't know if I did a good job. That's what I was supposed to do. So when you're in officer school, you have a lot of soldiers from different units. So I start getting phone calls from soldiers of mine that are now friends down at the Gaza border, and they're starting to explain to me that they're in big trouble. They're surrounded. They need help. These are words I never thought about. And this like, what do you mean you're surrounded? By who? Like, you don't understand yet, because the army in October 7, and probably a lot of questions and right questions about it, collapsed in that day. Everything what I knew and my friends knew was just by telegram or friends. That's how we worked. WhatsApp, Telegram, and friends. And I didn't understand at 8:30 in the morning that the situation is so bad. I understand there's a couple terrorists in Sderot, a couple whatever. We have an army down. That's their mission. We're training now. It's not my mission. But they're calling me, and I understand something different is going on. So I tell my commander, listen, I'm going down. I have a truck. I'll take 3 soldiers with me. We're going to go down to the south. And I tell my deputy, in the moment the buses come, you should take all the soldiers, put it on the bus, go down and call me, and we'll meet. Right now I'm going down because I want to help whatever I could. If the situation is so bad, they need every man. So I'm driving down. It's a 2-hour drive. It takes me like 25, 30 minutes. We just drive super fast. And on the way, I'm calling people I know that are in the Gaza border to understand a little bit more. And this officer girl I know, she tells me, listen, the situation is that the terrorists are in a lot of kibbutzim, villages, on the border, and the place that is the worst situation is a place called Kfar Aza. That's what she says. So I say, okay, I'll go to Kfar Aza. That's where I could help. We drive to Kfar Aza. on the way already, we see burnt cars, you hear people shooting. It starts to be a little weird because I mean, I've never been in war. And none of my men ever been in war. And my commander was never in war. Israel wasn't really in war for a long time. That's a good thing. And so we get to the entrance of the kibbutz, we go out of the cars. It's very dangerous to drive with the car in that kind of area because you're a big target. If terrorists see you, they could shoot you. So it's better to be by foot. It's safer. So we leave the cars, and I start walking in the kibbutz. Every time we used to train, I don't know, 7 years in the army, every time we used to train, we always talked about 4 terrorists, 8 terrorists, 2 terrorists. That's the numbers that we practice for. When I entered kibbutz Kfar Aza at 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe 9:30 or quarter to 10, we entered the kibbutz, and if I would ask you guys to tell me what would you imagine arriving at kibbutz at 10 o'clock in the morning, like what would you hear, like people shooting, people screaming or whatever. That's what I imagined. But in 10 o'clock in the morning when I entered, I didn't hear anything. There was silence. And you know why there was silence? Because war was over. I didn't know that. No one told me that. But at 8 o'clock in the morning, the Hamas organization, terror organization, captured Kfar Aza. Sounds crazy. That's what happened. At 8 o'clock in the morning, they owned Kfar Aza. And the little bit soldiers that were there, or were killed, or wounded, or kidnapped. But I don't know anything about this. I'm walking in, we're walking slowly, trying to hide behind the bushes, going slowly to see what's going on. And then we see 2 soldiers. Now the image I'm going to show you is a little bit rough. I think it's important. If someone too rough for him, you shouldn't see. But I showed this already in a lot of talks. I think it's appropriate picture to show. So what do we see here? I walk, and suddenly I see 2 IDF soldiers lying on the floor, wounded. And I'm going to go back, people don't have to see it more. And I see these 2 soldiers wounded on the floor, and I come to them. First of all, I want to check that they're alive, and they are alive. They can't really talk, and one of them is saying the word water, water. So I have a little bit of water in my back. I give them my water, and then after he gets a little better, I ask him, like, what's going on? Who are you guys? Just explain to me what's going on in the kibbutz. Then he says to me, listen, we're from Sayeret Matkal. Sayeret Matkal is like the most elite unit in the army, like the Delta Force. We got here, we woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We got here with helicopters. We came in at 8 o'clock. We were 9 men. And the moment we came in Kfar Aza, there were so much terrorists there, we couldn't do anything. We tried to fight, and he says, I don't really remember what happened, but after I heard an explosion, and since I'm lying on the floor, waiting for help for 2 hours. So we give them both of them, we give them fast medical care. We carry them on our backs to the entrance of the kibbutz. We put them in my truck. My driver drives them to the Soroka hospital, and both of these guys survive. It takes them close to a year and a half to recover just from they were a long time in the hospital, but thank God they also have 2 legs and 2 hands, and they're healthy. And after we took them out, the first image I had in my head when I saw 2 of our elite best, I never met these kind of soldiers. I'm a paratrooper, I'm a simple guy. We never fight with these guys are like supposed to do like special operations in Iran or whatever. I never saw these guys. And when I see 2 of our most elite unit army on the floor, and they're not even wounded, they're broken. They're broken, they're defeated. And when I see that, it reminds me about this. So on the right side is my mother in her when she got married. On the left side is my great-grandmother, Carolina. Carolina was born in Holland and got married a little bit before the Holocaust. And when the Holocaust started, her husband, my great-grandfather, Ashel, had a friend, a non-Jewish friend, but he understood that the Nazis are going to capture Holland. And he took them to a forest. He put them in a bunker down in the forest. I don't know where he found the bunker, but he knew about this secret place. 4 meter and 2 meters, very small place. He put them in. Another couple, he put there too. There were 4 people in a very small place. And every morning, he used to cook, risk his life, come to the bunker, give them food every day. And Carolina gave birth twice in the bunker. And he took the babies, he brought them to a Christian family in Amsterdam. And after the war, he got the babies back. She got the babies back, and she survived. And her whole family were murdered. Everyone, brothers, sisters, parents. I've been there 7 years ago. I went to visit where in the bunker where she was, and I saw the graveyard of the Jewish community, and it's her whole family. And why did I think about her? Because I always grew up on her stories. I grew up in a Holocaust survivor family without even knowing it. It's part of our identity. And she passed away a couple of years ago. And every time she used to come to Israel, she used to come for events. She has a dozen grandsons and great-grandsons, a huge family now she has. And she always used to smile like she smiles here. And I remember that her smile was a smile of victory. She was proud of what she have done, and she was proud of having a very big Jewish family. And when I see the beginning of October 7, I see our best men broken, the first thing I think about is never again. And my men, 10:30 in the morning, they're waiting for the buses, and instead of buses came helicopters. These are my men, as I said, 18 years old, very excited. They don't know where they're going. They got no phones. They have no idea what's going on. They just think they're going to, excited, they got a mission. And I'm standing at the entrance of Kfar Aza, and I'm thinking to myself, what should I do now? What do I do? I'm only me and 2 men by myself. I mean, it's probably more people I could save in Kfar Aza, but I have responsibility for these guys. I'm their commander. That's my position. And I'm thinking what to do, and I'm standing in the entrance, and it's a very hard decision because both things are right or wrong. And suddenly comes a police truck, stops next to me, and I see the police truck is full of bullets, been shot. A guy opens the window, he's like 50 years old, policeman, and he starts crying. And he says, listen, in the other side of Kfar Aza, there is a neighborhood called the Young Neighborhood, Dor Tzahir. And there's a bunch of terrorists there, and they're kidnapping people and murdering people, the youngsters over there, and there's no army. And that's the first time I even heard the word kidnapper. I didn't even imagine they're kidnapping people. We grew up on Gilad Shalit. We had this IDF soldier that was kidnapped, and we grew up in him and we protest, and we were so happy that he came back. But even when I saw soldiers, wounded soldiers in Kfar Aza, even when I understood the situation is so bad, the first time the word they're kidnapping people approached to my head. So when he said that, I didn't really have another choice just to go there. Because what could I do? What could I say? I didn't hear it. I heard it. Me and my two men, we were standing there. We heard him saying it. It doesn't look like he's saying false. It's probably right. And we're soldiers. I won't say that it's a hard thing to say, but it's true. Our lives, when we're soldiers, are less important than the civilians that we have to guard. That's our mission. We have to risk ourselves that civilians won't be wounded or anything else, or harmed. So we go in his car, we drive in the kibbutz, around the kibbutz. We get to a little bit before the neighborhood. We go out of the car, we go behind the bushes, and we look. And then I see something I never saw. I see a big bunch of terrorists, and they're just walking around. And these guys, I'm talking about 11 o'clock in the morning, these guys were first of all, they were surprised that they're there, that they're not dead. They're surprised there was no army. But they finished the war at 8 in the morning. Now it's 11. Now they're in their now they're partying. These guys are not fighting anymore. Their guns are in their back. And they're just walking around, burning houses, stealing money, just walking it's just like a movie. It's like barbarian people, like I watched in old movies. And when I'm standing there, I understand right away that me and my two men cannot fight 80 men, even if I'm very, very well trained. And I am pretty well trained, but I understand it right away. And then I get reminded by a book I read, an Israeli officer called Shiko Tamir. He said that in Lebanon, when they had a situation where you have less people than the enemy, so you can't fight them, you have to ambush them. You have to hide and let the enemy do the mistake. And I thought that was the right thing to do. So I put two of my soldiers in the bushes, one soldier aiming to the entrance of the kibbutz. The terrorists put a big hole in the fence of the kibbutz. And the way they kidnapped people in Kfar Aza is by walking. That's how they kidnapped them. Not even with the car. They didn't even get a taxi to Gaza. They had to walk. So I put a soldier in the bush, and I told him, your mission is to aim at the hole in the fence. And if you see anyone coming in, because they were still walking and sneaking in, sneaking out, you shoot them. And if anyone goes out, you shoot them. No one is going out of this hole anymore. The other guy, I put him in the bush, and he aims in the neighborhood. And then I give them an order. We're lying now in the bushes. We're not doing any mistakes. And if you see a terrorist, you shoot one bullet. Why one? First of all, we don't have a lot of bullets. You have to save the bullets. But the real reason is because if you shoot more than one bullet, they know where it comes from. If you shoot only one bullet, it takes some time to hear. And that's what we do. 11 o'clock in the morning, me and two men are lying in a bush in Israel, in a kibbutz. My battery of my phone is dead. No one knows where I am. No one knows what I'm doing. I just woke up in my pajamas at 7 in the morning. I didn't eat yet. I'm out of water. I gave all my water to the wounded soldiers. I didn't have any food with me. And I'm thinking to myself, what? How? What's going on here? But not a lot of time, no time for emotions or for thinking. You have to be very, very sharp because you know your life is in danger every second. And then after 20 minutes, the first terrorist comes close. He doesn't know what he's doing. And my soldier counts to 3 and shoots one bullet. Terrorist falls. And then that's the first moment we get a little bit more confident what we're doing because we see it's working. Then the other guy comes to look for his friend and also gets shot. And after a while, most of them start running away or to another neighborhood, or they started to get away from us. They don't know where we are, but they think there's a big bunch of soldiers waiting for them. We're only 3. And we're waiting in in the bushes from 11 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 5 hours. And as I said, in 11 I was hungry and thirsty, but in 4 I was already exhausted. A lot of times we used to imagine that in war you have a lot of energies because it's war. So it's wrong. It's 100% wrong. In war, because of adrenaline, you suddenly get a high adrenaline and then you get very, very tired. You could just fall asleep, even though you know you're in danger, you just fall asleep because your body just you don't control your body anymore. So this is what I'm doing until 4 in the afternoon. And I'm always having in my mind, where's my men? That's my real responsibility. I understand I am trying to help that they would stop kidnapping people from Kfar Aza. Very important. Super important. But I don't know if that's my mission because I have soldiers and it's always in my mind. But I don't have a phone, so I don't know where they are. I don't know anything. I'm always thinking, when should I leave? I have to leave, but I can't just leave the place like this because now I have responsibility. At 4 o'clock, I see a bunch of soldiers from Golani coming close to me. So I go to the commander. I tell him, come, listen, this is your mission. You guard the fence. You guard the neighborhood. Do whatever you understand. I have to leave. And we run out of the kibbutz. And I get to my car. My driver came back already from bringing the wounded soldiers. And I had a dead phone. And you know, when you turn on the iPhone, you got this Apple sign. And in the moment where the phone turned on, I had a phone call. Phone call is always bad. I answer the phone, and on the other side, an officer woman from our unit, she's in charge of giving all the information to everyone. Very, very sharp, smart. And she said, you know, she didn't ask me like, hey, how are you? Or like where were you? Nothing like it. She just said, listen, your men are now in Kibbutz Be'eri. You have 1 soldier that was killed, 9 soldiers wounded. Go to Kibbutz Be'eri, they need you. And then she hung up the phone. Very sharp, very straight, probably the right way to say it. I mean, when I kept on going in the army, I never imagined I'll have a soldier of mine killed. But when it happens, in the beginning, you just don't think about anything. Just 10 seconds, your mind is just white. But after 10 seconds, I understand, like, okay, we have to keep on going. There's nothing I could do. And we start driving to Kibbutz Be'eri. To understand a little bit, I just gave a very simple image. What you see in the brown is Gaza. What you see next to there is all the villages, kibbutzim. The circle up in the north part is Kfar Aza, is where I was, and the circle down is Be'eri. Very close. Very simple image. I hope everyone understands. To drive from Kfar Aza to Be'eri is 5 minutes. So I drive to Kfar Aza. I drive to Be'eri, trying to understand what just happened in the last 8 hours. And this is my men. In 1:15 in the afternoon, when I'm lying in the bushes, my deputies became their commander instead of me. And this is an interesting picture. First of all, you could see in the right side a burnt car, and you could see there were some bodies that I took out of the picture that I want you to see. And first of all, the interesting picture is there's no one there. There's no soldiers in the entrance, nothing there. When they enter the kibbutz in 1 in the afternoon, 1:15, they just enter the kibbutz. No one's telling them what's going on inside. And secondly, I took all the phones from my soldiers. So how is there a picture? So unfortunately, 1 soldier didn't listen to me. But because he took such a good picture, so I'm not angry with him, but he took this picture, and they enter Kibbutz Be'eri, enter in 1:15. They have no idea what are they waiting for. What is waiting for them? This is a picture from a helicopter, from a police helicopter of my men. And I'll try to explain in a couple sentences what actually happened in Kibbutz Be'eri before we came. It's very important to understand the facts. Everybody just knows the big mess. It was a big mess. I'm trying to bring the facts. In 6:30 in the morning, 7 in the morning, the Hamas captured Kibbutz Be'eri. Captured Kfar Aza, Be'eri, and some other places, Nir Oz. Captured. All the soldiers that were there were or killed or wounded. That was the first thing they did, this first wave. The second wave, they brought in a bunch of terrorists, like 300, 250, in the kibbutz. And they always practiced for this. And in every house, they knew the IDF is going to come one day, right? We're not going to leave it there forever. So they decided to put in every house between 3 or 4 or 5 terrorists that's supposed to ambush the IDF soldiers are supposed to come. So the first they captured the place, and then they waited for us. And the second interesting thing is, every house in a kibbutzim has a shelter. Shelter, what we call mamad in Hebrew. It has 2 purposes. One, it's against missiles, right? Safety against missiles. But the second and very important one, I never really knew about it in that way, but they could lock themselves in the shelter. So you have in one house, a lot of houses, a shelter. In the shelter you have a bunch of Jews, mother, father, kids, dog, and they're holding the handle. And in the same house, you have terrorists. They can't kill them because they're locked inside. So you have a house that the terrorists are waiting, as they're ambushing. The IDF soldiers are trying to come and rescue. And that's what happened in Kibbutz Be'eri. And it wasn't one house, it wasn't 2, it was hundreds. In Kibbutz Be'eri, in October 7, there were 1,200 people living. After October 7, there were 1,100. 100 people were or murdered or kidnapped. And my men didn't know that. No one told them. No intelligence. No one said, listen, when you go to these houses in the kibbutz, there's terrorists waiting for you. No one knew anything. And in the first house they captured, they tried to capture the first house because my soldiers understood we need to rescue the families from the houses. In the first house, they were ambushed very, very hardly, and my soldier Eli, and we're going to talk about him later, was killed, and a lot of soldiers were wounded. When I enter Kibbutz Be'eri, I enter in 4:30, 4:25, and when I get to, first of all, I enter the kibbutz. I see some policemen in the entrance, and I tell them, you know where my soldiers are? You know where the paratroopers are? They don't know anything. They say, listen, it's dangerous inside. Hey, I know it's dangerous, but where's my men? He said, I don't know. So I enter into the kibbutz by foot, walking, me and my 2 men. They're pretty scared. And we're walking and looking for my men for 25 minutes, just walking in the kibbutz. This sounds like a very long nightmare, but I'm just saying facts. And I'm walking, and after 25, 30 minutes, what do I see? I see 4 soldiers wounded, my soldiers, waiting for rescue. They get the first medical treatment. They're lying on the floor. They're waiting for helicopters or whatever to rescue them to the hospitals. And I see a bunch of soldiers sitting on the grass, shocked. Just shocked. Try to imagine a youngster, 18 years old, sitting on the grass. His face is white. And you just see that he doesn't, they saw me coming and their eyes don't move. They're just they came in, they tried to capture a house. Their officer was wounded badly. Their friend was killed. And they just got into a big shock. They were shocked from the amount of fire they got from everywhere. When I get there, first thing I do is I call my all my commanders, and I say, listen, I was in Kfar Aza now, I came here, please explain to me what happened until now, what is the situation, and what do you say we should do? And they're telling me, listen, there's tons of terrorists here, it's crazy, what's going on? We're fighting here, there's terrorists, there's families, like, it's one big mess. And I'm listening to everyone, and then comes a miracle. Okay? Sounds like a fantasy, but suddenly comes a tank. A tank. It's like if a genie would come and say you have 3 wishes, I would say, first wish, give me a tank. Because that's the only way I could fight. I'm a company commander. I've been taught, and that's how I practice. I have combat soldiers, I have a tank, and that's how we fight together. Everyone has their quality. And suddenly comes a tank. Out of the tank jumps a guy. He says, nice to meet you. My name is Salman. He didn't tell me that he's a battalion commander, that he's a higher level than me. And he didn't tell me that he came driving from like 4 hours with a tank, just because he understood that we need tanks. And no one told him to do that. He just said, I'm here. Give me missions. Whatever you tell me, I'll do. So I say, great. Go to your tank. Be in the same radio like me, and I'll give you orders. And I'll tell you what I was thinking. Before that, I have a very important picture I want to show. It's not bad like the pictures before. It's a little easier. Okay, what do you see here? These are 3 terrorists that my men killed. The important picture is, in the right side and left side, they're wearing IDF uniform. Now, it's not, I mean, they don't really know how to do costumes, okay? They never had Purim. It's not a good costume. But when a young soldier is like looking, and then suddenly he sees someone running, he has 1 second to decide, and he sees he has an IDF uniform, he's not going to shoot. It's very hard. You don't want to shoot yourself. Friendly fire is very complicated. And when, just to understand what I thought, all the houses in the kibbutz look the same. Exactly the same. It's not like here or in the valley that everyone builds his own fortune. In the kibbutzim, it's 1 floor, and it's it's just 2 houses attached, and in every house, the right side you have the mamad, the shelter, and in the left side you have a shelter. So what I decided to do is, because I understood there's so much terrorist here and we can't really fight them in the way we want to, is to shoot 1 missile, 1 tank missile, exactly in the middle of the house. Because I know that the Jews are in the shelters, and there's terrorists, and I know all the houses are exactly the same, so it sounded to me like the right thing to do. So I tell the tank to do that, and he says, listen, I can't shoot in a house. We never did that. We never practiced that. It's not even part of our imagination to shoot with a tank in a Jewish house in a kibbutz. But for me, it sounded like the only way to fight these guys, because they were ready for us, and we were surprised. So I jump up to the tank, and I come to the commander, and I explain to him, because you have to give him confidence. Before a guy shoots a missile, he needs to understand what he's doing. I explained to him, look, we were in the last house. You have in the right side you have a shelter, in the left side you have a shelter. We could shoot 1 in the middle. It's going to work. I give him the exact angle to do, and he shoots 1 missile. We enter into the house. We capture the house. What we see is, in the middle of the house, we see 4 or 5 dead terrorists on the floor. And then we get to the shelter, and I hear people inside. And I tell them, listen, I'm the IDF. You could open the door. They say no. I say, guys, listen, it's really the IDF. They say, no, we're not going to open the door. And I starting to just say things to them, like Shema Yisrael, or just say words. And after 20 minutes, these guys understand that I'm serious, and they open the door. And then you see, out of the door comes a father, a mother, a grandmother, a kid, a dog. They're all white faces. And to understand, I'm talking about, we started to fight here with tanks in 4 p.m. These people are from 6 o'clock in the morning in the shelters till 6 o'clock at the night. This is the first people we rescued. Imagine the last people, and they didn't eat anything. They're in their pajamas or in the underwears, and they're just in total shock. And that's what we do. We understand this, it works. We should shoot every house a missile because we have to rescue these people. And we go house by house. And I want to talk about 2 very intelligent soldiers I had. I'll tell you, like, a lot of times as commanders, it's not that we don't trust our soldiers. Sometimes we just think they're stupid. Okay? And I'm not saying it because I'm saying it like seriously. Soldiers are always complaining and they don't want to do anything, whatever. So commanders, we always want to give the orders. We never think that the soldiers are smarter than us. But the truth is they are. A lot of them. And one of my soldiers, every house we left, when you capture a house and you shoot a missile, you could probably imagine the house is gone, right? You throw in hand grenades, whatever. The house is burnt. He wrote on every house, he put a paper, and this is what he wrote. Dear family, we are the Paratroopers of 890 unit. Thank you for your hospitality in your house. We're so sorry on the damage, but it was for a good reason. Am Yisrael Chai. And every house he put this. And why did he do this? Because we all know we're doing the right thing. We have to save these people's lives. It's more important than a stupid house. But he doesn't feel good for him that he's breaking a house of someone. He feels he has to write this paper on, and he puts it on every house. And unfortunately, we ruined like 40 houses, 50 houses. The second soldier, he saw that every time we rescue a family, we have this like couple soldiers. Their mission is to take the family and to walk with them outside, and then they take them with buses to whatever, to hotels or I don't know exactly what they did with them. And he saw that these people are walking and they're seeing on the floor dead people. And in kibbutzim, unfortunately, a lot of times people are family, cousins. And he said to himself, I don't want a kid that was 12 hours in hell to walk and then see his dead uncle, his dead cousin, his neighbor. So the soldier went in one of the houses that we already captured. He took a big bunch of blankets and covered all the bodies. That when people are going to walk in their horrible day, probably the most horrible day of their life, they won't have to see that too. This is a young guy, 18-year-old. No one told him to do this. He just thought about it because he has a big heart. So we're capturing, and in 2 o'clock at night, almost 24 hours, we get to the last house in the neighborhood. In the house is still people alive. The mother Sigal and the daughter Noah. We take them out, we rescue them. And you remember I said before, soldiers are very tired. The thing is, we were very tired also in the afternoon. But every time you see a family walking out of the house, you get energies for the next house. But in 2 a.m, we were broken already. I gave an order. I almost couldn't stand on my legs already. I gave an order to my soldiers. I know maybe there's more terrorists around. Doesn't matter. We're not machines. Everyone goes to sleep now. Lie on the floor, go to sleep. That's it. If they're tired enough to fall asleep with all their equipment on the floor, they don't care. I put one soldier in each house to guard, and we go to sleep. 6 o'clock in the morning, so we had like 3 or 4 hours to sleep. They wake me up, my commander, and he says, Nechemyah, listen, we got intelligence that terrorists went in Be'eri in the night, so we have to capture the whole neighborhood again. To captured again to make sure there's no one in the kibbutz. So the good news is there's no people living in the houses, so it's easier. And most of the houses are already broken, so it doesn't sound like a very hard mission, but we're all high motivated. I wake up all my men. We go to the first house from the beginning, and we start capturing the whole neighborhood. And 6 o'clock, the first time, we got water, food, new equipment. We had like 30 minutes of like eating fast and making our stuff ready. And then 6:30 in the morning, October 8th, we start capturing again. And there were some terrorists in the beginning that we found, like broken people that they were like lying there or wounded already or whatever. But after capturing 5, 10, 15, 20 houses, we felt that we're going to finish soon. It's no problem. And when we get to one of the last houses, we don't know from where they came from, but there were 13 of these guys, terrorists, waiting for us in one of the houses that we already captured yesterday. I don't have enough forces to put soldiers in every house, because when we capture, we keep on going. I don't know exactly where they came from, but they got from somewhere. And they were waiting for us. They were ambushing us. And when my officer went from the door, he got shot in the leg, fell on the floor, and we tried to rescue him. And one of the soldiers, when he tried to rescue him, was shot and killed. And he was killed in 4 in the afternoon in Sunday, October 8th. And we rescued the officer. He's living now, and we do everything, and we finish. And this is Eli Ganassia, French lonely soldier. And his smile was real. He always smiled. And I want to say about him that he was a lonely soldier, and he was supposed to finish in the army, draft out 2 weeks before October 7th. I sent him for 1 month to his parents to Paris. I gave him a month off, and he wanted to come back. And I told him, "Listen, you don't need to come back. You're fine. If you have 2 weeks left, you could stay in Paris." And he said, "No, but I want to do the week of war with my friends." And I told him, "Man, it's okay. We really don't need you to come. Totally fine." And he said, "No, I really want to do it." So I did. I researched. I did what I could do, and we gave him special permission to do 2 more weeks in the army, because he wanted to do this week of war. And October 7, he was the first soldier on front lines, number 1 out of 120 soldiers. He was number 1, and he was killed as a hero in October 7, right in the entrance when we got to one of the first houses of Be'eri. The second soldier that was killed is Ariel Ochana. Beautiful face. I'll say about this guy that before I got to my position, he was a not good soldier, I'll say in a simple way. Why not good? So commanders didn't like him because he made trouble. He was a troublemaker, a very good boy, a troublemaker. And commanders always, we never really like the troublemakers because we don't want any trouble, right? And always he used to send him out to positions like 3 weeks over there, 3 weeks over there, that he won't be in the unit. And that's what we do with soldiers we don't like. And when I went into my office the first time, the first thing you do is you talk with each soldier. You do a short talk. You have 120 guys, 10 minutes per soldier. I try to imagine. It took me 2 weeks. That's what I did in my first 2 weeks. I talked with all the soldiers. And I'm a young officer. I come with motivation. I want to change. I want to blah, blah, blah. I come. And then soldiers, when they come in, they just complain. You should know, soldiers always complain. That's part of their thing. If they don't complain, it's or they're an angel or they do drugs. That's what we say in the army. That's like their thing. And every soldier's coming and saying, "Listen, Nechemyah, I don't know if I want to stay. It's boring for me. We're not doing anything." And every soldier comes in and says nonsense. And then this guy comes in, like number 25, 26, and he says, "Listen, Nechemyah, I know that everybody told you I'm a bad soldier. And I was right. I was a bad soldier. But I don't want to be a bad soldier anymore. I want to be a good soldier. And in October 7, when one of the soldiers, one of the machine gun soldiers in Unit 1 was wounded, he was in Unit 2, he ran in front and decided to be in front. And when he died, when he was killed, he was rescuing his officer. So we were fighting for 3 days, October 7, October 8, October 9, sorry. And after 3 days, I tell my commander, we're done. We're done, finished. No more people in Be'eri. We rescued everyone who we can, rescued 80 people. And we took all the bodies. We did everything that we could do. We finished. And I'll tell you, we have a problem in our army. First of all, we never tell our soldiers like, good job, or thank you, or whatever. We just keep on going. Army just keeps on going all the time. And my commander says, okay, you got a new mission. You go to Kibbutz Alumim. It's one kibbutz up to the north. And your mission is to guard Kibbutz Alumim. That's what he says. Okay. We're soldiers. We get orders, and we do orders. I take all my men, we go on the bus, and we drive to Kibbutz Alumim, and we have a 5-minute drive. And on the way, I'm asking myself, what should I tell my men after the 3 crazy nightmare that we just had? We lost soldiers, a lot of soldiers in the hospital, like 17 soldiers, in different ways of damage. What do I say? Why do I tell them? And now I want to ask you, beautiful audience, what would you say to these men? I'm listening.
We have a mission, let's go.
So you're saying we tell them we have a mission? Let's go, that's it? Anything else?
You praise them.
How do you praise them?
Good job.
Say, guys, you did a great job. We have to keep on going.
I don't know.
I don't know, I'm asking, it's fine. No.
This is what you train for.
I tell them, guys, this is what you trained for.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
That's it?
They don't want to hear great job. What do you say?
They don't want to hear great job? I know what I said, but I'm asking you guys. Yeah, what do you say, sorry? Who said?
You don't tell. They don't want to hear great job
Why?
because you did what you had to do, and we move forward.
So,
Zerachai.
so you tell them, listen, guys, you did a great job. Sorry, you did what you need to do.
You did what you were doing.
Now we're going, okay,
We're going to continue.
more.
It's over yet.
Yeah.
They're gonna have survivor's guilt, so they're gonna wanna be told there wasn't,
We want to avoid their guilt.
yeah,
How do you avoid people's guilt?
that they survived. That they saved all those.
You don't want them to feel.
They don't wanna be told they're heroes.
Okay, I get it.
They wanna be told there was a reason.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, so what you tell them?
It's my talk. I decide when. Now I'm asking.
There's more people who need to be saved. There's the war.
We have the hostages, right? We have the hostages. We have the mission, the next mission. Last one.
You just pray.
Apparently, we haven't gotten it right.
Do more.
What?
We have to do more.
This is what we trained for, let's go on.
You said that already. He said that already. Last one over there. Sorry, say that again. Your country needs you. As you would say?
No, I said they would do what they're told.
What I tell them they would do. So I'll tell you what I said. I don't know if it's the right one, but that's what I decided. I had 2 thoughts in my mind. In one, whatever you say, whatever you all said is right, because we have to keep on going, and we have a mission, and we can't stop. But in second thought, I mean, soldiers are people. You know, we have feelings. In third thought, if they'll have too much feelings, these people are going to collapse, because there were actually a lot of units in the army that after October 7 didn't keep on going. So what did I do? I put them all in the grass. And I told them, first of all, I did say that you did a great job, because I think they did a very terrific job. And I told them, first of all, you go with all the facts. What happened? We were in the base. We woke up. We went to the kibbutz. Hamas surprised Israel. And we did our best to rescue. And we had 2 soldiers killed and the soldiers wounded. And now we're here. So that's the first thing you always have to say. You have to say the facts. And afterward, I tell them, in Jewish tradition, when someone dies, what do? Funeral. Right? The Judaism gives place for feelings, but in the correct order. So I tell them, we're going to do a funeral to our friends. We're going to have 2 hours. Then in 2 hours, we're going to talk about our soldiers, our friends. You could cry, you could do everything, whatever you want. But in 2 hours from now, I'm going to stop, and we're going to stop crying, and we're going to keep on going for the next mission. And that's what happens. For 2 hours, everyone is talking, very, very hard. Everyone is crying, me too. And after 2 hours, I tell them, guys, time's up. From now on, we're not crying anymore until the last day of war. I didn't know that the war is going to be so long, but I meant it. We're not crying until the last day of war. And I saw in the eyes of my men that they are understanding what I mean. They had enough place for themselves, and now we're going for the next mission because we have hostages to bring back. We have a terror organization we need to destroy. It won't be a threat on our people anymore. And then we start training. We didn't know when war will start because we all knew we were going to Gaza. I've never been in Gaza before. None of my men were ever in Gaza. And we always thought it's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be next day. That's what they told us. So we trained very hard every day because maybe the next day will be the last day we could train. Our training looked like this. Before I explain this picture, our training was every morning, 6 o'clock in the morning we wake up. We train till 10 o'clock at night with 2 breaks of half an hour, breakfast and dinner, or lunch and dinner. And 10 o'clock at night, every soldier comes to me, gets his phone. He has 1 hour with the phone. He could call his mother, call his whatever. And 11 o'clock, they all give me back the phones, go to sleep, wake up in 6. For 3 weeks. And the main thing they did is cursed me, right? They cursed me, and they weren't happy with what I'm doing. But I knew that after 3 weeks, when I told them, do you guys feel ready? They said, yes, we do. Because a lot of training makes people feel, you feel you have the ability. Even though it could be you already had it, but it's very important to feel it. So this important picture I took, this bald guy ruined the picture, but he's okay, he just did his job. You see here 3,500 paratroopers in November 4, ready for first day of war. In the side you see, you can't really see him, he's standing there, a small guy, the division commander, and he's talking with the soldiers. The truth is, in this kind of talks, no one remembers what he said and no one even heard what I said, right? So many people, everyone's talking. The importance of this kind of meeting, gathering, is when everybody sees each other, you get power. Every soldier sits and he sees in his side 3,000 paratroopers, and he's like, wow. And everyone has motivation, and everybody's ready and excited. This gives a lot of power. This is me, October 5. This is a talk I have to give my soldiers before war. The last time I remember someone giving a talk before war was in the Bible. Like, I am asking myself, like, how did I get to a situation where I have to talk with people before the war? And I'm thinking what to say, because there's a lot of things to say, and I say it very shortly, because soldiers, we talk with them so much, they get bored already. You have to say very simple. I say, guys, you're well trained, you're ready for everything. I know you're stressed. A lot of soldiers were scared. No, we don't really talk about it, but it's true. People were scared. The first time you go to this place, we only heard about bad things, so full of booby traps and tunnels. And we're going to fight there. We're going to try to bring back the hostages. And we weren't the first force to come in. Other forces, we already heard about soldiers getting killed. I tell them, I know you guys are a little scared, but we're well trained. We know exactly what we're doing. And if you guys are going to listen to me and be disciplined, exactly like I want you to be, so you have a better chance to survive. That's what I said. You should know, a lot of cases in the war, a lot of cases, way more than you think, people are getting killed because of they don't have discipline. They're doing mistakes. Stand without a helmet. They go out without crazy things that happened. Not most of the soldiers. Not most. 40% of the cases, in my opinion, are not from enemy. And then we go in. So, this is Gaza. It's beautiful beaches. You should know that. It's a very good piece of land. And what? It used to be. It's the same like this. It's still beautiful. Now it's full of tents because they all live there on the beach. But it's a beautiful water, beautiful beaches. And the first couple days were very stressful and learning. Like everything we did was the first time. The first time you capture a house. The first time you find a tunnel. The first time, everything was the first time we did it. And after a couple days, we start feeling we're doing the right thing. And we're doing it in a correct way, and we're doing the techniques right, and everything is fine. We're feeling like we're going in a good path. And after 14 days, November 19, we're all in our houses. We're doing this mission. We found this tunnel. We need to destroy this tunnel. And then we hear an explosion. Now, when you hear explosion, you hear a lot of explosions in Gaza because a lot of airstrikes and a lot of things are going on all the time from different units. So every time there is an explosion, what I do is I check with all my soldiers are fine. I go on the radio, tell my officer number 1, and every soldier has a number. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the officer number 1 says, I'm fine. Officer number 2 says, I'm fine. Officer number 3 says, listen, I don't find 2 of my men. So I say, it can't be, check again. He says, really, I don't find 2 of my men. I did all the numbers, and I'm losing 2 people. When I hear that, my heart goes down, and I always have my small team, or 4 men. I run over the house, where every team is in a different house. I run to the team of number 3. I go up the stairs to understand what's happening. And what happened was, Israeli tank, a bunch of tanks were driving, and one of the tanks decided, there's no discipline, there's no reason, there's no enemy, there's nothing, decided to shoot a missile to my house. What we called friendly fire or unfriendly fire, and he just shoots a missile. And when 2 of my soldiers were up in the roof, not on the roof, they were on the 3rd floor because they were on the 2nd floor, all the soldiers. And I told them, when you go to the bathroom, you go to the 3rd floor because you don't want people having diseases. You can't go to the bathroom in the same floor you are. And they were there. They did exactly what they were supposed to do. And they got shot and were killed. And this was the first time for me that I felt that maybe this is too much for me. It's not easy. Commander, the most famous commander in the history of the army, called Napoleon, said, he had a very famous sentence. He said, don't give me good commanders, give me commanders with good luck. That's what he said. And I was just thinking with myself, after I see my soldiers, I said, maybe I just don't have good luck. Maybe I'm doing my best. Maybe I'm good. I don't have good luck. And I'm thinking and not really talking with anyone, going downstairs, and suddenly comes the division commander. He came because he heard about the accident. He sees that I'm with my face down. He takes me by the hand. He puts me he goes in a room, closes the door. And then he says to me, listen, this is exactly the moment where you want to collapse, you want to go, you don't want to stay. But you should know that in this moment, everyone is looking at you. All your soldiers. If you're going to behave and be sharp and say the right things, they're going to go after you forever. But if you're going to be upset and collapse, your whole unit is going to close because people are not going to go anymore. And what could I say? I was speechless. He was right. It took a couple minutes of thinking, and then I had to go to each team, 3 houses, and give a talk and explain to them what happened and what are we doing now and how do we handle this. Every team is 2-hour talk. So 6 hours I'm giving a talk. In the last team, team number 3 is the team where the soldiers were killed. One of the soldiers told me, Nechemyah, listen, we don't want to fight anymore. We don't want to fight anymore. Why would we fight anymore? You told us we're going to be fine if we're going to listen to you. That's what you said. What is this? How does the tank shoot at us? And it's a good question. It's a great question. So I had to think, before I give a good answer, I have to think. I can't just answer right away because it'll probably be a bad answer. But I tell him, listen, everyone sitting here now, in this talk, came here with a car, right? Someone walked here? No, right? Everyone came with a car. Everyone here knows that in Israel, every day, 1 person gets killed in a car accident. We have 360 people a year getting killed in a car accident. I think in the States it's more. Every single day, someone dies in a car accident. But anyway, all of you came in cars. Why? To what?
Too far.
Okay, but
You can't not drive, I mean, you can't not
so that's
live your life and just.
the exact answer that I said. Accidents can't avoid life. There's always going to be accidents. But we can't avoid our life because of accidents. And I told him, listen, what happened now is a crazy accident. But it's an accident. And it's not supposed to happen. But just because we had an accident, it doesn't mean we're not going to bring back our hostages anymore. It's not connected. We have to keep on going. And he understood that. And we kept on going. My 2 men were Yinon Tamir. Yinon Tamir was very, very special. As I told you before, that soldiers always complain, right? You heard that a couple times from me. They always complain, but they were a little scared from me. I don't know why. I don't think I look scary, but soldiers are scared from their commanders. They don't like when they have to complain. They complain to each other. They don't come to you because they're afraid I'm not gonna do anything. I'm a good guy, but they always used to come to this guy, Yinon. He lives in Pardes Chana, and they all give all their complaints to him. And then he takes all the complaints and he writes it in a paper. He comes to my office. And he was never scared from anyone. And he opened the door and said, Nechemyah, I need to talk with you. I'm like, okay. It's like your girlfriend needs to talk with you. It's like, okay, sit. What do you want to say? I have complaints. Okay, talk. And then he says, we think this is not good, this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. And then I say, okay, so let's change it. If you have a better offer, let's do it. And what happened was that we always had the same thing. Soldiers had problems, went to him, he went to me. And that's how we always tried to give solution to the soldiers. They loved him. He was a leader without being a commander. The second soldier, Dvir Barazani, this is a picture I took of him a day before. And it's a very special picture. What soldiers do in Gaza, most of the time, is guard. We're sitting in the houses and we're guarding ourselves and we're going out to missions and coming back. That's what we do. So most of the time, a soldier is guarding. And in order to make the way he guards good, and he won't fall asleep or be too tired, usually we put like a chair behind the wall and we put a pillow on And the soldier could sit down. He has a pillow. He has his equipment. And that's the way he guards. It's simple. I'm coming up and I see this guy lying on the floor with a machine gun. And it's very not easy to guard like this for 2 hours. That's the reason why we put chairs. And I see he's smiling. First of all, I took the picture. And then I say, Devil, why are you not sitting on the chair? Why are you lying like that? And then he said, Nechemyah, this is the best way to guard my friends. It's better. I know it's hard, but it's better. That's what I'm going to do. For 2 hours, he's lying with his machine gun on the floor. And was killed as a hero. After this case, and after we talk with the soldiers, we all understand together we have to keep on going. Nothing could stop us. And we're keeping on going. For a year, we're fighting in Gaza. Because I'm limited in time, I can't talk about everything, but we were part of operations of bringing back dead hostages. We brought 12 dead hostages back in 3 different operations. We were part of the operation of bringing back the 4 alive hostages, Noal Gamani, and another 3 men. And every time we did something important, we got more energies for the next week, and the next week. And every time we fail, we're feeling we're doing the right thing. This is a picture I took because I love to play the piano. I don't know why someone brought a piano here. But I'm a piano player, and I saw this piano. I told my soldier to take a picture with me. And after 86 days, try to imagine the number, 86 days, we go out of Gaza for the first time. I want to ask you guys, what do the soldiers talk about in war? Who knows? It's only one subject, maybe 2. Women is number 2. They always have their top 10 models. They always put whatever. Family, okay. So, exactly. They only talk about their mother's food. That's it. Doesn't matter when. Doesn't matter when. Like, I would imagine maybe they're talking about philosophy, maybe talking about sports. Every time I go down the stairs, that's what I hear. Oh, I want to eat the couscous. I want my mother's couscous. I want the chicken. They only talk about that. And they're just waiting to stop eating this disgusting bread with the beef jerky and start eating normal food. For 86 days, they're only talking about that. Now, first of all, my dad cooks, not my mother, so I can't talk about my mother's food. But she actually also makes great food. But after 86 days, we go home on Thursday. We go out of Gaza on Thursday. And Friday, Saturday, first time we go home. We're so happy. Everyone's so happy. We had so much difficult times before, and now we're going home. And everybody can see their family. So I'm very happy too. I can see my family. Going in my car. They're all on the bus, driving. And then I get a phone call. Who calls me? A soldier. He says, listen, Nechemyah, I don't want to go to home. I want to stay. Okay. And then calls another soldier. I want to stay. And then someone texts me. I'm starting to think like something's happening. And then I understand. It's very simple. Try to imagine this kid, after 86 days, coming home. And then he comes, opens the door, and his mother is, hey, how was your week? What could he say? How was your month? He never even thought about it until then, because he was with his friends together. This is a new family. This is family. The only person who understands Oded is his friend Yuval. He's the only guy who can understand him. And a lot of my soldiers told me, I met my girlfriend for the first time. I couldn't talk with her. I couldn't and they all went home and had their mother's food. And in Motzei Shabbat, I got a phone call from my commander, and he told me, yeah, we know about a lot of cases in the army that soldiers didn't come back afterwards, after the first time they left. Because their mother is a Jewish mother and she doesn't let their kids to go to war. And because he's afraid, and because his girlfriend. And he told me, what do you think is going to happen? I told him, listen, in my unit, nothing's going to happen. Don't worry. Sunday morning, 100%. are all back. And they're not back because they want to fight. We already passed it. We didn't have motivation to fight anymore. We want to be together. And this is a good picture. You could see the dogs, where we always have 2 dogs. In the middle, there's a doctor, 50-year-old doctor, doing everything with us. You always need to have a doctor with you. And we keep on going and doing our missions. And this is a very, very important picture, maybe the most important picture of my talk. And unfortunately, you never see this picture, not in BBC, not in ABC, not in Jerusalem Post, you're never going to see this picture. Social media, but I took the picture, so it's not fake. It's not a fake picture, and I don't take so much pictures. But when I saw this, I understood I have to. We were, after almost a year fighting, we got to this neighborhood that no one was supposed to be there. Before we go to the neighborhood, it's called a war zone. It's a place no one is supposed to be. We put letters before, and then we artillery. No one's supposed to be there. And we try to capture this house, and we start hearing people screaming. When people shout and scream, it's probably terrorists, because no one's supposed to be there. So I take the soldiers out, and then we shoot some tank missiles. And then I stop. I send my dog. Now, the dog has a camera on his head, and the camera is attached to my phone. So I'm sitting in the house before, and I can see exactly what the dog is doing, where he's going, and whatever. Technology. Good technology. And then I see that the dog is running, and I see a woman holding her hands up, and 3 kids. I call back the dog. We have like a whistle. We call him back. We take the family. In the beginning, we do a very short investigation to the mother to see if she knows anything, but she doesn't know anything. We give them food, blankets, shoes. And you see, my soldiers are very nice to them, very kind. We take them to a humanitarian place, and we let them go. And this is how we treat people. In the evening, one of my soldiers came to me and he said, like, Nechemyah, why were you so nice to these guys? Like, why are you so nice? You know, October 7, how could you be nice to these people? So I said, if these guys are an enemy, why should we treat them in a bad way? And not just because of them, also because of us. You want to your whole life live that you know that you were unkind to this kid and you whatever, like, we're good people, and if it's not a threat, we're not going to do anything to these guys. And this is only one picture, but it happened a lot of times to my unit and to a lot of people. This is the IDF. This is the IDF. It's true, you always find very extreme stories that you could find all over the place. But this is the real IDF. So after a year of war, I get a phone call. This is the only good phone call that I got in the talk. The president's office, Yitzhak Herzog, wants to meet you. Yeah, great. Never got a phone call like that before, but I'll come. So after a couple days, me and all my men, this uniform, the first time we put normal uniform on and not army combat clothes, we meet the president. Like an NBA team goes to the White House to meet like Barack Obama. Oh, sorry. To meet Barack Obama. So no, this is Israeli company going to meet the Israeli president. And we're sitting and he's talking and he's asking questions and he's very nice to them. And in the end, he says to them, I want to tell you from the Jewish people and from Israel, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And this meant so much for my soldiers. Israeli soldiers could do everything. I'm telling you, everything. They're like almost like slaves. I'm saying it in a good way. They work all day and all night. Sometimes they complain, right? They complain, but they work very hard. They only need one person every couple of months to say thank you to them. And to give them energies for another year. And when we go home, this is a very important picture. It explains to you what is family. Every time my soldiers go home, the first thing they do is go to the grave. That's how they start. Even if they get 12 hours and they don't have a long time, first they go to the grave, then they go to the family of the parent of the soldier that was killed, and if they have 4 hours left, they go to their girlfriend. because this is their family. So we're after a year. We're feeling pretty good. We met the president. We're feeling we're after most of the stuff. And then I get a bad phone call. The thing is, never answer phone calls. That's my law. Never answer it. Maybe it's going to work. And my commander says, I don't know if you heard in the news, but Israel did the Mossad operation in the north and whatever. Pagers, right? And 24 hours, we're going to capture Lebanon. So the first thing I said is, what? And the second thing I said is, what the hell? And it took me like 5 or 10 minutes to recover. When I told my soldiers, it took them like 24 hours to recover. But after 24 hours, we were there. First of all, it's beautiful. You should know that. But I want to, I'm finishing soon, but I want to, in 5 sentences, to explain to you guys exactly what was in Lebanon, because I think no one really knows. I'm after meeting close to 1,000 people in the US, and no one really knows what Israel did in Lebanon. But it's very simple and very important. In the last 20 years, Hezbollah, owned by Russian, Iranian, Syrian government, built 18 bases on the border. Where did they build the bases? In the villages. Secret bases. We knew about it. I knew about the plans before. We were practicing for it. And their thing was, we have 18 bases. Every base has 600 soldiers, reserve soldiers, or commando soldiers. And whenever Nasrallah will give an order, they all drive down to the bases with no uniform, with their own casual clothes, go to the secret bases, put on the uniform, and attack and capture the north of Israel. That was a plan. Very simple. Very simple plan. They had tunnels. They had, most of them weren't in tunnels, but understanding if you, in a way, surprise Israel and bring 6,000 soldiers to the border, it's very complicated for Israel to defend. We always knew about it. The truth is that in October 7, most of the army jumped up to the north. It's very important. Most of the army jumped to the north because we were very scared that they're going to attack, as their plan was. After a year of Israel mainly attacking, striking from the air, and Lebanese terrorists, after the pagers, Israel felt it's the right opportunity, and they took 4 divisions. Every division got 4 bases, and the mission was for 4 months to capture the bases, to destroy it, and to come back to Israel. Simple. That's what we did. And we were 4 months, me and my men, we captured 3 villages. We found, you can't believe how much weapons we found. And not just weapons, Russian weapons, new weapons, it's all new. You're going to see now a couple pictures. And let me see if it's going to work. So this is in Hebrew. This is me explaining. This is a tunnel we found. A tunnel, first of all, you could see it's all new. It's all brand new. This is a tunnel we found, a 1.5 kilometer tunnel, built by, I don't know who, but very high level. And the end of the tunnel starts in one of the villages. The end of the tunnel is like 400 meters from Israeli village. And this tunnel is so big, you're going to see it right now, you could put in 600 soldiers with some motorcycles. And look at the equipment. Look how much equipment. I never saw so much in my life. It's all organized. You could see this is not just like a terror organization. This is like a real army. These are their beds. This is the tunnel, 1.5 kilometer. You could see I'm walking here, but a motorcycle could drive here, no problem. And it's just keep on going. And more rooms, and crazy equipment. And this was part of the big plan of surprising Israel. So me and my soldiers got the mission to capture this tunnel, to find it, first of all, afterward to capture it, and then to destroy it. And
What'd you do with the stuff?
one second. Good question. I'll show you. This is a video with a drone after we put in 10,000 booby traps in the tunnel by hand. Okay, because you can't really, it's very complicated. And after So after destroying, actually the whole mountain fell from the destruction. For your questions, who asked the question? All equipment that is not expensive, we explode together with the bombs. If it's expensive equipment, like a Russian equipment, we take it to Israel, and I can't really say, but we also use it sometimes. But I said it. If it's so expensive, it's just a waste, you know? I'm back. This is a very important picture too. I'm really finishing soon. A lot of times we have argument in Israel that people say, even in the US, like, why do we do combat on ground? Why can't we just missile everything from the air? Great question. This is one answer. We were capturing this house in Lebanon. No intelligence, we don't know anything. We just capture the house because it's a neighborhood, whatever. It's part of the mission. And when me and my men, we enter into the garage, we see this truck, Toyota. What is this Toyota? It's a rocket launch. In the upside, you could put 24 missiles. And then they drive the car a little bit out of the house. They shoot 24 missiles to Kiryat Shmona and drive the car back in. And even the best Israeli technology can't find everything. A lot of times we did find this kind of cars, but this is a car that me and my men found after the ceasefire in Lebanon, in a Lebanon village that is very close to Israel, like 4 kilometers. And actually this also we took to Israel, like to have a memory. So we have it in the north of Israel. Don't worry, I'm not using it. And these are very, very, very expensive Russian equipment that their thing is to destroy Israeli tanks. Okay, each piece here costs like $50,000, and all of these we took to Israel. And this is things we found just in houses. Just go to a simple house. There's a room of the kids, the room of the father, and then the room of the weapons. It's like in every house we go, we have intelligence, but in the places where we have intelligence we find, but we also find all the other houses. And all this equipment was in one mission, to destroy the Jewish land. That's the only thing, I don't know why so much people are always trying to destroy us. I never get it. I never got it. But this is what they do. So much money for what? Could sell this stuff, buy a house in the valley, and live a great life. Why? Like what? I would never get it. But this is what they do. And all their money goes to this. And I showed you the tunnel. And a lot of times people were asking me, like, how are your soldiers keeping on going all the time? We're fighting for a year in Gaza, 4 months in Lebanon, keeping on going. I tell them, listen, I never give motivation to people. I don't do that. I don't give guys who have... They see in their eyes. You see this tunnel, you understand, that's what we need to do. Soldiers have very good common sense. If they understand the mission, you don't need to give them motivation. And after 4 months, we have 3 months left, and we're very excited that we could finish our service. There's no more surprises. Good question. And we're all home. We have like a week vacation. And as I said, don't answer phone calls. After we destroyed Hezbollah, my commander tells me, the Syrian government is falling, it's disappearing, and we have to go in for 20 kilometers to make a bump zone to avoid any terrorists to come to Israel. Okay. I'm a soldier. What could I say? Say, okay. I take all my men. And the truth is, it's not a real war because all the soldiers ran away. Our mission was to go in Syria and go to all the bases of the government, of the army, and take all their equipment and all their weapons to avoid that these weapons will fall to extremist jihadist terrorists. And after 3 months in Syria, it was a great time. I actually have very good friends from Syria, not as a joke. Had a very good relationship with the people there. I have a lot of pictures of them. Sometimes they even text me. And we finished our mission, me and my men. In March, 14 March, we drafted out of the army. This is my story. Thank you for listening. I'll take a couple questions. Yes, please.
I have a question. I understand why you were in Lebanon and Syria to get rid of these weapons that they were literally aimed at Israel. What do you think about the way that it's being handled now in Gaza, with Netanyahu saying that there's no starvation, and going into Gaza, and he's denying that all of this is happening there? What do you think about that?
It's a very good question. I could say, of course, I could only say what I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a young
Just
officer.
opinion.
I'm not a strategic officer, simple guy. I had some experience there. First of all, I could tell you as a fact, there's no starvation in Gaza. I could tell you as a fact what I saw. I was there for a long time. I met a lot of people, never saw someone starving. The truth is, the people that were starving were me and my friends, because we only eat bread. And they got like fruits and vegetables and meat and everything. It is true that there were times that they didn't have a lot of food. Like there were times that they got only simple food, like bread, whatever. But I don't think there were ever a period where people were actually starving. That's the first fact that I think. About the war in Gaza, it's first of all, I always say, and it's very important, because I meet a lot of people, and people are very depressed. Also in Israel and also in the US. People are depressed. It's very complicated. I had a talk in the Hamptons, East Hampton. This guy's not, he has a bunch of billions, okay? And he's telling me that he and his son aren't talking anymore because he's conservative and his son went to the liberal side and he's very angry at his father. When I came to the US, I came to talk and then I started to learn about conflicts in the US. It's very complicated. And I'll go a little back. I'll say like this. War in Gaza is more complicated than other wars because of two reasons. One, we have hostages, and we don't want them to die. So the whole way we fight in Gaza is totally different because we come to an area, we tell them before we're coming, and then they could take the hostages away, right? And then they leave booby traps. It's very complicated. The second thing is tunnels. There's you just can't try to imagine the subway in Manhattan, and then 2 times 150,000. That's like just to try to understand. It's just crazy. Until now, Israel destroyed close to, I'll say, 80% of strategic tunnels. Strategic tunnels is big tunnels with electricity and people could live inside. And maybe close to 40-50% of just simple tunnels. So right now, Israel won Lebanon. We won. We didn't live in Lebanon. We won the Hezbollah. Hezbollah was the biggest terror organization in the world. And we won. Israel fought Iran. That was 30 years waiting for this war, and we won. It's not 100%. We had casualties, we had damage, but we won. Syrian government for years was a threat on Israel, and we won. People are depressed, and I understand it, but we always have to put the facts And remember, first of all, we're winning. Israel is a way more safer place than it used to be 2 years ago. We're in a way better place. Even though everyone is depressed, we have to sometimes look from the outside and look at the facts. And I go back to Gaza. Every day now that Israel is fighting in Gaza is a day that if your grandson is going to live in Israel, he will be safer. That's what I think as a person that was there. It's true. People are getting killed. And it's very, very sad. I mean, I have soldiers that were killed, and it's the worst thing I want. And the most thing I want the most is the war will be over. The most thing I pray every day, the war will be over. But as fact, what Israel is doing now in Gaza, we're just destroying more and more tunnels. That's the main thing we do. And we make Israel a safer place. In my opinion, I don't accept the people thinking that it helps politicians in their politics, so they do more war. As a person as I have been there, and I got orders. All orders I got were always with thinking and knowledge before, and you have a place to ask a question, and sometimes they change the order. And I could only hope and pray that the hostages will be back. Kama sheter maher. Yes.
Where's the dogs?
So dogs, as I said, in Syria, it wasn't a real war because no one was really fighting us. We were just going to capture. So because there weren't any booby traps at all, we didn't need to use the dogs. Sometimes we actually bring dogs to find that we have special dogs that they know how to smell equipment. So that was something else. And yeah, good question. Yes, please. Women? So I don't have, my soldiers are all men, all common men, but I'll tell you like this, if we didn't have women in the army, we'd be in very bad shape. The women that I work with in the army, officers, are by far the best. They work very hard day and night, and I think it's a very big blessing for the army that we have both. They had an argument in Israel about combat. I think, in my opinion, if she fits, she fits. You have one level. Everyone should have opportunity to fit. But actually, the doctor, the 50-year-old doctor, left us after like a half a year, and instead of him came a woman doctor, and she did the whole war with us. Actually, you know what? Next talk, I have to put a picture of her because of you. Last question. Yes.
What do you think in the beginning we heard a lot about the women soldiers who were the intelligence and nobody listened to them. What has come since then about?
Can you repeat the question?
She was asking about, there were a lot of talks about women intelligent, from the intelligent units that said a lot of things and no one listened to them. So, actually it's interesting that no one asked me the biggest question, like, what happened? How did the army collapse in that day? That's your question? So I'll try to answer both and I'll finish then, because people need to go to sleep today. Not getting younger. And I'll tell you what I think. The biggest mistake of the army, of the country, is the thing called imagination. What do they mean? If, God forbid, chas v'chalila, suddenly come here people and attack us. Chas v'chalila, right? Not here, in another place. Here, nothing would happen, we're fine. In another place. And afterwards, we would ask ourselves, like, why didn't we put 4 guards? Why only 1? And the answer is, when you put guards on a land, is you only do it for what you think will happen. And we thought about Lebanon a lot. We practiced for Lebanon. I'll give you another interesting fact. When I was in officer schools, they told us to stop teaching about Hamas. We only learned about Hezbollah because we didn't imagine we built an $8 billion, $4 billion, $3 billion fence, right? And we had super expensive technology. So no one imagined, me too, that Hamas has the courage to even try. We knew they have 40,000 soldiers. But no one imagined that they will have the courage. And when you don't imagine something, you can't get ready for it. So we imagined Iran gonna shoot us. So we put $20 billion on jets, and we have the best jets in the world, better than America. We have the best jets, and we have the best air against whatever you call it, the arrow against missiles, and everything that we imagined, we're the best. The problem here that we were not humble, and we didn't imagine this could happen. We thought that we always thought they're scared from us, and they screwed us up. I'll say to finish, first of all, it's a very big honor for me to come here. After doing 7 years of service, now I feel this is my service. Because people need to hear, people need to know the facts. And it's very important that people will hear the experience from the percentage of the soldiers, not from a high level, from a low level, what these people did. Very, very special people. My soldiers are the best people in the world. And I think, as I said before, a lot of people are depressed, very depressed. I understand the situation is not the best, it's true, but we have to have proportions. And the better days will come. You can't always be in the head down and be sad all the time, because it's true. We have 20 hostages alive in Gaza, it's true, but 80% of the hostages are out. Israel rescued already 80% of the hostages. We can't forget that. Can't say we're leaving them. I mean, and we won Iran, we won Hezbollah, and Israel is a safer place now, and our economy is doing pretty good. We can't always be depressed. We have to be, so faces up. And the last thing, if anyone has the ability to help you keep on going, I would always it would help me very much, because most of the things I do in volunteering, but I will keep on doing it, even if it's on my money, because it's important. And October, I'm planning on coming back to the US for a month. November, I'm studying law. And my mother will have a lawyer's son. Thank you very much. What? I could play a song if you want.
Play something.
I want a song. I have it here in my phone. I don't know how to do it.